What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. Read the title. Today we are tier listing every free agency contract given out this summer. All right, I grabbed every player who inked a new deal this offseason. That counts extensions as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaren Jackson Jr., guys like that are in here. That counts extensions. Anybody who inked, put their name on a damn contract this summer, I have on here. Not all of them. I forgot some, like, sorry, Chris Livingston, you didn't make the list, but I think you get what I'm saying. Over our tiers, we have great value, great player. That's the pinnacle. Good value, great player. Great value, good player. It's the inverse of each other. You get it. Okay value, okay player. Bad value, good player. And then not great player, fine value. It's a good way of saying I just don't like the deal at all. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Come on, I'd like to have you guys around here. Let's break 100 before October. I don't know. We're getting into it with Chris Paul, who I'm going to put in good player, great value. 1 year deal, base vet minimum. It can't get much better than this, especially with the Clippers. They needed more creators and people who can run an offense. James Harden is a great setup man who can pass his ass off. But who was going to do that off the bench? Nobody really. So you get Chris Paul. He's now a good lob thrower for a John Collins type. I think this is a really smart deal. He produced relatively well with the Spurs last year, even after Wemby went down. The guy's damn near 40 and just played 82 games. He played 82 games last year. That is just impossible. And I don't think he gets much better than Chris Paul. You know, what do they say about a fine wine? It gets sweeter over time, right? We're moving on to Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott. Not great player, fine value. It's a minimum. Again, it's basically the same amount Chris Paul signed for, like $3 and some change million. I like Dougie McBuckets, but he's like, he has to be like 35 now. He's got to be a little bit older. Yeah, he's aging. His skill set's still there because shooting doesn't fade with age, ideally. And Doug is a fine player, I guess. It's just like, all right, you signed Doug McDermott. Marcus Smart, I'm going to put in okay value, okay player. I don't know what to expect out of Marcus Smart on a contender nowadays. It's been a little while since we've seen him play competitive, real, like, championship level basketball. So I'm very curious as to what, like, it's going to be like in Lakerland. How much did they give him? 11 mil over 2 years. Yeah, that's about where I'm with. 2 years, 11 million for Marcus Smart is pretty damn good. He's an all right player. I just don't know what to expect on a competitive level, considering we haven't seen that in quite some time. Plus, he's older. He's got to be in his mid-30s too, at least nearing in on it, you know? So, again, it'll just be interesting to see how he plays with the Lakers. He's a heart and hustle type of guy. That's what you're going to get. No more, no less. Dame Lillard's going in great player, good value. He's an amazing player, obviously, and it made me very happy he went back to Portland. Like, very happy, because if any team was going to sign him that wasn't like a championship contender, I hoped it would be Portland. I mentioned it in my last video. I didn't think a reunion was really going to happen for Dame in Portland, but it has happened, and it made me really happy. It's only good value because it's a lot of money to a guy coming off an Achilles tear, but it's still a great player. Dame is one of the best shooters of all time, and I don't mind giving out that deal because of the fact that he's a great shooter. He doesn't rely on athleticism, but he does rely on some burst speed. We'll have to see how his rehab works back from that, but Dame is a Hall of Famer, maybe the best Blazer of all time. It made me happy to see him back in Portland. Just for reference, Dame's getting less than $15 million a year. I think I'm gonna have to move it up because of that, because it's sub $15 million a year. I think it's 3 years, 42, which translates to less than $15 million a year. So I guess I do have to bump it up just because that is pretty decent. Ajax got a 3-year, $21 million deal. I don't know how to feel about that. The guy's very unproven. He doesn't get much burn. Like, I mean, I know he's missed a ton of time with injuries and stuff, but I don't know. They got a really big center rotation, and it's like, I don't know who's going to be fitting in and fitting out, unfortunately. There's some people who are going to be getting pushed out of the rotation that deserve some minutes. They got James Wiseman, Thomas Bryant, Tony Bradley, Ajax, and there's another one that I'm missing. Jarris Walker can play a little bit of fun. Either way, they got a lot of size. $21 million over 3 years. I didn't even expect him to get 3 years. I thought it was going to be like a 1+1 type thing. I like Ajax. I'm just not sure about a 3-year guaranteed deal to a guy that didn't really get much PT last year. Herbie's Burgers, 3 years, $68 million. That's, I don't know where to put this. I think I'm going to have to put him in great value, good player. It's fine value. I don't think Herb is like special. You know, he's a really one of the best defenders in the league. He can hit his corner threes. He just has a lot of injury trouble. He played like 13 games last year. It's not a lot. I think Herb might be in a weird case because he's at like 22 mil a year actually. I don't know if I like that value. You know what? You pay for defense. I'm gonna have to put him there. I don't know how much $21 million really means to the Pelicans in the grand scheme of things because they aren't a great team. But it is fun to see an all-NBA defender in Herb Jones get paid. Marvin Bagley, 1 year, $2.5 million. Fine. Again, I don't know what to expect. He's going to the Wizards. They have Alex Sarr already. They don't need it. He's not going to be relied on to play big minutes. He's just kind of hanging on in the NBA, which I guess is, you know, nice to see. A guy who had real collegiate potential that has not been realized. However, there is still some value there. Maybe he can, you know, kick it into gear and be a good backup for them. 5 years, $287 million for J-Dub. Yeah, I'm about to put in a great player, good value. He is the best player in this bracket, in my opinion, so far. They're all good players is kind of what I'm saying. J-Dub is the best of them, obviously. I think it's good value. I don't think it's great value because 200, I mean, that's a lot of money. Quite a lot of money. It's quite a lot of money, like 50 a year type stuff. Absolutely insane how their books are going to look in a little while. That's kind of why I have him a little bit lower, because that is insane contract money. But J-Dub is so talented. They could mess around and win another championship next year, and that contract immediately becomes so worth it. It already has because he's won a championship already, but if they repeat, automatically it becomes a win for that contract. All right, I created another tier because I just have to. Devin Booker is an amazing player. Amazing. One of the best at his position. Top 3, easily, maybe the best shooting guard in the NBA, depending on who you ask. Jaylen Brown's up there, but like Jaylen Brown's more of a 3. Either way, Devin Booker is one of the top players at his position. However, that is $62.5 million per year on that extension. That's nuts. That's nuts. And that's kind of why I have to have him here. Is like, that's a lot of money. I mean, $60 million, that might be the top paid player next season, one of them. And for a team that's not great, the Suns aren't good at all, really, to be honest. It's just a lot of money, man. He is a terrific player, and he deserves it because he stuck through. The motherfucker had to play with Tyler Ulis, all right? Tyler Ulis. Who was the other one? Freaking Dragan Bender. You know, he deserves it. But it is like $62.5 million a year is crazy money. $25 million a year for Chet Holmgren. Great player, good value. Actually, no, I'm going to put him in good value, great player. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to put him in great value, good player, because $25 million for your starting center is not bad at all. Not bad. And again, you just won a championship. It's a little bit hard to judge because these are extensions and they're years down the line, blah, blah, blah. Who knows what their team circumstance looks like in 3 years? Lord knows I don't. So it makes it a little bit harder to predict the future with their extension deals that are like 4 years down the line. But it's like, again, you won a championship. You have a chance to do it again. Why not? Both Paolo and J-Dub got 5 years, $287. And if I thought J-Dub was great player, good value, what do you think Paolo's going to be? I think Paolo's better than J-Dub. I think Paolo's ceiling is higher than J-Dub's, you know. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. It just makes sense in my mind. Paolo is amazing. He just needs to develop playmaking skills and ideally a better three-point shot. But otherwise than that, like he's growing into becoming an all-NBA guy consistently. Only reason he really didn't make it this year was because he missed so much time with that injury. And it was like right after he dropped like 60, which was nuts. But again, in the playoffs, he looked really good too. He looked like the best player on his team in the playoffs. So Kyle Lowry got a minimum. Okay value, okay player. He's like a fourth guard over there in Philly. They got Maxey, they got McCain. They got the guys that they need to believe in. Kyle Lowry's just kind of there as a veteran leadership role. I don't mind it. Mo Wagner, 1 year, $5 million deal. Okay value, okay player again. Mo Wagner's like a good backup 5 man. That's kind of just who he is. And 1 year, $5 million's not bad in a backup center market, you know. And especially someone as good as Mo Wagner. He just wanted to stay close to his brother, I'm pretty sure anyways, so definitely makes sense for him to re-sign. This is wild, but I think this is a good player, great value. It's Jabari Walker, which I know is going to sound insane to a lot of people, but I really like Jabari Walker's game. He's not as good as Chet Holmgren or Herb Jones. Listen to what I'm saying. He is not as good as Chet Holmgren or Herb Jones. He is not better than Devin Booker. He's not even better than Marcus Smart. He might not even be better than Isaiah Jackson right now. But he was on very limited playing time in Portland. They had so many forwards and bigs. Jeremy Grant, Klingon, Rob, Ayton, Denny. These guys all play the 4, at least, or the 5, right? He was kind of just there. When he got PT, he was really good. The guy just shot like 38% from 3 last year. Jabari Walker getting a 2-way deal, not even a 2-year deal, a 2-way deal, was definitely a little bit shocking to me because I think he is a good player. I do. Again, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe he'll get waived at midseason and he'll be out of the league by, 2 months from now. I don't know, but you look at the underlyings. His cleaning the glass page is beautiful to look at. And a lot of that stuff is like he's a net positive player. He just was getting buried by a deep and young team in Portland. Jackson Hayes got a minimum. I'm going to put him in not great player, fine value. He's not going to start. He shouldn't start. He's going to get some rotational PT as a rolling big man, a screen and roll big, lob threat type. And yeah, that's about it. He got a vet min. That's cool. Trendon Watford got $5.3 million from Philadelphia as well. I think that's okay player, okay value. I like Trendon Watford. I think there's talent there. He's got good size. He's like 6'8", somewhere around there, 6'9". So that automatically, and plus he could shoot a little bit. So I don't hate Trendon Watford. I think he'll develop differently on a team that has other talent around him. You saw him in Brooklyn, and it's like, how many open shots are you going to get when your point guard's D'Angelo Russell, or he's playing with Tosan Evbowan or what, Tosan Evwoman or whatever. You know what I mean? How many open looks is he going to get when Keon Johnson's the guy passing it to him? It's not a ton, so you'll see him in Philadelphia. I think he'll have a good year there. The Mavs brought back Dante Exum. That's another okay value, okay player. He can play a backup guard. He's like a 3-and-D guard. His jump shot is hilariously flat-footed, but it goes in, so who gives a shit, I like Dante Exum a lot. Not a lot, but enough, and I think the value is there. It's only a vet min. It's cool. Ayton got 2 years, 16. That's okay value, okay player. I have consistently killed DeAndre Ayton on this channel. Today I want to do the opposite and maybe play devil's advocate and say, like, it's only $8 million a year. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe he adds another facet to their offense where it's not Luka LeBron ball and it's like, hey, let's give it to Ayton for a post possession. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe they use him in a Celtics Porzingis role where it's like, we're going to force the switch. Once you get a guard on, you go to work. Because he's just like Porzingis in the sense where, yeah, he's big enough to pulley a guy all the way down underneath the basket and dunk on him, but he's not gonna. He's gonna take a 15-footer. He's gonna take a free throw line J, but it's a different facet to their offense, and it's only $8 million a year. Like, I'm not worried about that. He does suck at rim protection, which is a big downside, but he's back playing in a competitive environment, so who knows what you get out of him. That's me being optimistic about Ayton for once in my entire YouTube lifespan. Dinwiddie got a vet min with the Hornets. That's okay value, okay player. I think Dinwiddie's a good, fine backup guard. He could score a little bit off the bench. That's kind of what he's called upon to do, is to be a bench scorer. And as long as you keep that as his role and don't make him like the lead guard, he'll be in a good spot. Spencer Dinwiddie's a fine enough player. Duncan Robinson got 3 years, $48 million. And I don't like that. I don't. I think the Pistons are trying to get like another Malik Beasley type thing going, because obviously they can't have Malik Beasley. The guy's on suspension for the same thing Emmanuel Clase did, the same thing Luis Ortiz allegedly might have done. It's gambling. All right. He's under investigation right now for it. Really weird spot. Like, Terry Rozier was under investigation for gambling, but then they cleared his name. If you haven't heard the follow-up on the Terry Rozier thing, apparently it was just one dude in like a Florida casino that was just placing thousands of dollars on Terry Rozier unders on a sports book, which is hilariously like hater fueled, but it worked. Yeah, the one guy that kept betting on Terry Rozier's unders kept hitting so frequently that they investigated it. Isn't that just wild to think about? But either way, with Malik Beasley under investigation, I feel like they signed Duncan Robinson to kind of fill the void. $48 million, that's $16 million a year for Duncan Robinson. in this economy. I don't like it. THJ got 1 year, $3.6 million. It's a vet minimum. It's going right there. This is a contributor, a guy who can pitch in, a guy who can have a hot shooting game and take over. You know, we've seen a couple of games in his career where Tim Hardaway Jr. starts scorching from three, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, the rim's this big for him all of a sudden, and now he's got 5, 6 threes. That's burying the other team. You know, Tim Hardaway Jr. is valuable when he comes off the bench. As long as you don't, like, let Tim Hardaway Jr. run wild, where it's like, here's 15 shots, you keep his shot profile at, like, 6, 7. I just did it. 5, 6 shots. Not going any higher than that. It's a fine value, fine play. It's not bad. Jakob Poeltl got 4 years, 104. I think that's great player, meh value. 104 is like 25 mil, a little bit more a year, obviously. Jakob Poeltl's a good rim protector. He can defend a little bit on the perimeter, kinda. Can't make a free throw. Isn't a bad passer. He is a good screener, though. He's kind of what you want out of a modern-day big man. He's not as much of like a lob threat as you'd want, but he's a fine player. Over 25 million a year for Jakob Poeltl. It's not steep. I wouldn't say it's steep, but it is like, oof, I don't know how much I like that, especially with this Toronto Raptors team that I don't know where they're going to be. Masai Ujiri went through the whole offseason and then got canned. You let him make all the decisions that get you through the offseason and then you fired him? I don't know. That's just weird. Schroeder got 15 mil a year. Bad value, good player. That's kind of where I'm going to put them. Dennis Schroeder is a good backup guard. 15 mil a year is a little bit insane asylum, though. Is he going to start next year? There's a real chance, and if he is, I don't like it because you still have DeMar and Zach and Sabonis. It's too much in Sacramento, too much. All right, I don't like it. I don't like the deal. I don't know if anyone else was going to give Dennis Schroeder $15 million a year that wasn't the Kings. I guess that's my issue with it. Is anyone else going to be willing to pay Dennis Schroeder $15 million a year that's not Sacramento? I can't guarantee a yes. Shea got 1 less year, but the same dollar amount as Paolo. That's kind of nuts. He's going to go in great value, great player. He's the best player on a championship team, and he has proven it now to the point where it's kind of just throw the contract at him. It should be a max number. There shouldn't be much of a debate. He's a great player, one of the best 5 in the world right now, I would say. One of like the 7 best. I don't know. I'd have to sit down and do the rankings, but maybe I'll do that later. But as for right now, Shea, that's a great player who is on a big deal now that he deserves. 4 years, 107 for Miles Turner. I think is going to go in that same boat where it's like, yeah, it's a fine. Miles Turner is a top 15 center in basketball. He is well above positional averages. But there is some things that I dislike about Miles Turner. He's not a strong rebounder. He's not bad rebounding, but he's not a strong rebounder. That's okay, though. They got Giannis to cover that up. He's also a decent rim protector, but I don't think he's special. He had a block champion that I'm just like, I don't know how much I like that. It was funneling a lot of that. But either way, Miles Turner is a good player getting paid like over $25 million a year, which I don't hate. I guess it's the person giving it out in Milwaukee, but that's a different conversation altogether. You know what? It's not great value, though. It's about bang on average value in a good player. So I guess that's where it belongs. 2 year, 12 mil for Yabusele. This is a great value for a good player. Yeah. I'm confident with that. He played really well in Philadelphia last year. Made his threes at a decent clip. Attacked the rim relatively well. I recently heard somebody pronounce his last name as Yabusel, and I don't like that. Don't ever say that. That sounds like a sex term. Don't like that. Yabusele is a fine player on a good deal, and the Knicks finally get a backup who can play minutes. Bucks gave Gary Trent Jr. 2 years, $7.5 million, which is going to go in great value, good player. Gary Trent Jr., although he did fumble that pass against the Pacers that led to the game winner, I know, he literally just broke the Bucks bench single-season threes record. I mean, that's the best season you're going to get out of a bench player, and they got it out of him. And he shined in the playoffs a little bit. He had some big games. I thought he was going to get more money than this, which even surprised me when he didn't. I'm happy for GTJ. He's finding a place where he can stay because this guy bounced around a lot for a player who's not bad. Jordan Clarkson got a vet min. That's it's okay value, okay play. I'm not sure what to expect. Jordan Clarkson's kind of aging as well. He is a flamethrower, I think, still. Although Utah didn't really show it much last year. where he can still score with him. Just defensively, he's got question marks, but again, he's a 6-man of the year type guy. The Knicks just got deeper this offseason, and I respect it, and it's only a vet min. What's the worst that happens? You release him? Oh, no. 1 year, $7 million for Taurean Prince is going to go in. Yeah, okay value, okay player. He was a starter last year, and he wasn't bad. He shot relatively well from the corner, I believe, too, last year, so that definitely helped his value out a lot. I'm not a fan of Taurean Prince, but I'm not a hater of Taurean Prince. He's just kind of a role player that exists to me. Luke Kennard, 1 year, $11 million. I don't know if shooters are valuable. I guess it's only a 1 year deal though, which is gonna make it push it up because there's no such thing as a bad 1 year deal in my mind, because you could just get rid of it. It's off the books at the end of the year, right? So he's okay value, okay player because he is just an okay player. He's a shooter. That's it. That's it. There's some like passing chops in there that I'm not sure. He's not really going to get the opportunity to show that off because he has one of the greatest playmakers in the league on his team now in Trae Young. But $11 million isn't all that bad, and not many 1 year deals are bad. The Magic bringing in Tyus Jones, I think is going to go in like great value, good player. He's not an elite player. This is making me want to move those two up, Herb and Chet, but I don't know, man. It's weird spots. Either way, 1 year, $7 million for Tyus Jones is fine. He's a good three-point shooter and a good passer for a team whose lead guard last year for good portions of it was Corey Joe. I would take Tyus Jones over Corey Joe in a heartbeat. So the fact that they got Tyus Jones is pretty damn good. He can shoot the ball too. He's like a 38% three-point shooter. To boot with the fact that he is an elite assist to turnover ratio guard as well. He'll help out a lot. 4 years, $62 million for Nikhil. I think that's really good value. I do. He's in the same bracket. All right, now it's starting to come around to me more because Nikhil's in the same bracket as Herb Jones. He's not an all-NBA defender, but he is more dynamic offensively than Herb Jones. Nikhil is a very decent player who is a good 3-and-D guy, knocks down his threes, 38% clip type guy, and he can move a little bit off the dribble. Remember, he came in as a point guard. You know, he came in as a lead guard like Shea did. So they have the experience of handling the ball as well. He can do things off the dribble is what I'm saying. I don't really want him to all that often. I'd prefer him to just catch, shoot, bang, and play great defense. But eventually, you know, role players got to get their dribbles in too here and there. And this is one I do not mind taking his dribbles with. That's Nickeil Alexander-Walker. It's a decent deal. Luka Garza, sure, 1 year deal with the Celtics. He's a backup center who's going to be playing. He's a fifth center. I mean, G League pretty damn close. I don't know what the hell he's going to do in Boston. I haven't seen a big like Luka Garza in Boston since Al Jefferson. Jared Sullinger was kind of the similar player, I guess, because he wants his post touches and stuff. I don't know. I'm not a big Luka Garza guy. Wasn't really a fan when he was in college either. Was actually kind of a hater of his when he was in college. Fun fact about me. I did not like him in college. But he's on the Celtics now, so I guess I got to deal with it. Brook Lopez is he's going in good player, good value. You know, great value, good player. Brook Lopez got $9 million a year with the Clippers for 2 years. That's not bad for a backup big man, especially when they didn't have one last year. Ben Simmons was a backup 5 in the playoffs for them at times. That's not acceptable. And Brook Lopez is a hell of a lot better than Ben Simmons, so I guess you'll have to take that. I like Brook Lopez a lot. Even if he was a starting center, I wouldn't hate it. Obviously, he's aging now, and him playing behind Zubats will make an awesome center tandem I really like. Clint Capella got $7 million a year for 3 years with the Rockets. I'm going to move him a little bit down. Clint Capella is okay at best now. I watched him in Atlanta a lot last year, and there's a reason he was losing PT to Onyeka Okongwu. Capella was very block chaser type. He's still a decent lob threat, but he's just kind of old. He's aging. His screen setting ability isn't the same as it once was, even though he can still do it. I think, though, with the Rockets, it'll be a little bit better of a scenario for him because he won't be relied upon to play heavy minutes at all. They have Şengün, Steven Adams. You know, they got a bunch of bigs. Jabari Smith, you know, so he's not going to be playing many big man minutes, not a ton at least. And he might be a trade chip. Who knows? Maybe they use him as a trade chip because that contract is movable. It's only $7 million a year. Luke Cornett got a shade over $10 million a year. That's good. That's a great value for a good player. $10 million for Luke Cornett. You know what? I don't know how to feel about it. I think I'm going to leave him there because the Spurs desperately needed a big man to play next to Wemby last year. It was clear. Zach Collins was trying his best, but he wasn't capable to hold his own in the paint. Basically, what they needed was a big man to play post defense, so that way Wemby can be the roam defender that they've been using him for since he came in, which is the right way to use him. Kind of go get blocks and steals and jump passing lanes and stuff like that. And Luke Cornett's not a bad post defender. He's not a bad defender at all, you know. So he struggles on the perimeter, but oh well. So do most big men. If you signed Clint Capella, you'd probably get a worse result on the perimeter. So you bring in Luke Cornett for $10 million a year. The Spurs should be happy with that. Plus, he's vibes. Luke Cornett brings all the vibes. Kevon Looney got $8 million a year, and I'm just like, who else would have paid Kevon Looney $8 million a year? Who else? What team? I don't think there is one. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if another team was going to pay Kevon Looney $8 million a year. All right, and it's a very Pelicans move, is all I could say. I'm struggling with words for Kevon Looney's deal. Bruce Brown, okay player, okay value. He hasn't played a ton, but also I just don't think he fit in any of the scenarios he ended up at. It just never made sense for him in Toronto. Like, why? You know, they have Scotty Barnes, but Scotty Barnes ain't Yoke. You know, he's a very high IQ guy, cuts well, he's a very good cutter. His floater in the lane is cash money. And on top of that, if he can knock down a 3 or 2, like, that's just an added plus. Brucey B may be able to help the Nuggets get back into championship mode next season. It should be nice to see him back with Yoke, though. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. KPJ got $5.5 million a year, and I think I'm going to have to put him in, like, great value, good player. It's not bad value, and he's going to be, like, in point. He might be the point guard next year. Him or Cole Anthony, or I don't know. They got a bunch of them. Either way, he may start at guard next year. He started at guard last year, and he didn't look all too bad. You know what you're going to get out of him? You're going to get spotty scoring here and there, kind of in and out scoring. You're going to get decent but not great playmaking, mid-defense. That's what you're going to get out of KPJ. Don't expect any more. Don't expect any less. And he's probably a better backup guard that is being forced into playing lead guard, but I don't think he minds, and he didn't do necessarily that bad with the Bucks last year, so I'm kind of happy with his deal. Ty Jerome got a shade over $9 million. I think it's going to go in there as well. Ty Jerome was just a 6th man of the year contender. He struggled in the playoffs a little bit, but that's mainly due to, I think the Pacers just did a really good job of slowing him down. He is a guy that will really help you out in a regular season type thing, though, because it's a long stretch. 82 games is a lot, and Ja Morant's missed a lot of time in his NBA career. So having a capable backup point guard has been paramount for the Grizzlies for a while, and Ty Jerome is capable. At worst, he's capable. D'Lo getting less than 7, it's like 6.5 a year. That's okay value, okay player. I don't think D'Lo's as good as Ty Jerome. I don't think D'Lo's better than KPJ. I don't think he's better than Nikhil. I don't think he's better than GTJ. So that kind of makes sense. D'Lo is a weird player that likes to have the ball in his hands, but albeit if the ball's in his hands too often, you're not going to be good. That's kind of the downside, because if you give the ball to D'Angelo Russell too much, you'll produce a bad product because he's not great. But if you take the ball away from D'Lo, he's going to struggle in more limited roles. He said he wanted to be Derek White like 2 years ago, and then it went all down the drain. He just never was. That might have even been last year. I don't know. It's just some guys don't know how to play without the ball in their hands, and D'Lo is one. Trey Jones got $8 million a year. He's going to go in the same spot as D'Lo. It's not because he's the same type of player as D'Lo. It's just he's a little bit different. He struggles to shoot a little bit, unlike his brother, who's actually a decent shooter. But he is the same in his brother, where it's like he's a high assist-to-turnover ratio guard. And he played relatively well in Chicago, so it makes sense for them to re-sign him. For what it's worth, it's not a lot of money, like $8 million a year for a backup guard. That's cool. DFS, $53 million, 4-year $53 million. It's I don't really like the value there. He's good. DFS is good, but I think that's where the train kind of stops at good. $53 million, it's over $10 million a year. They're paying a lot of guys over there. I don't hate it as much. I don't hate the deal. I just don't think it's really that good. And especially since you're going to have to pay more guys soon. We're talking Tari Eason. We're talking, we're talking Amen Thompson eventually. There's guys that they got to pay over there. And DFS getting a 4 years is definitely what made me question it. That's why I was like, no way, he really got 4 years. He's older, too. I know his skill set won't fade with age, but he isn't like that great, but he's not a bad player. I don't want to paint him as a bad player. I just don't like the deal as much because of the length. 4 years is a lot. B-Ball Paul got 2 years, $11 million. you know what? I'm higher on B-Ball Paul than a lot of people are. He could come in and play a backup 5-man role despite being like 6'6". He's a forward big man type. He can knock down a three-pointer here and there. He dunks hard. You know, he kind of gives me, I don't know, not Reggie Evans vibes, because Reggie Evans will clean the glass. Not like Kyle O'Quinn or Quincy Acey type, because they were bigger, but it's like a weird hybrid where it's like a hustling center. Montrezl Harrell without the offensive. I don't know. It's weird. Jake LaRavia, fine. 2 years, 11. It's like $5.5 million a year. That's fine for Jake LaRavia. He's a shooter who can make a play off the dribble is what I meant to say, a little bit, but he doesn't do anything particularly well. He's Jake LaRavia. What do you want? Santi Aldama got a shade over $17 million a year, which is kind of steep in my mind. I actually love Santi Aldama. Santiago Aldama Toledo, his full name, but he's not a bad player. It's $17 million a year is just a lot of money, man, and it's this economy, and I'm not talking about the world economy. I'm talking about the NBA economy, where great players are getting paid less because of these floors and because of these aprons. It's the cap aprons, man. It's all about the aprons, all right? It's all about the second apron. $17 million a year to Santi Aldama. If the Grizzlies didn't pay it, I think somebody would have, but I don't know if I can justify how good or bad the deal is by saying I'm sure somebody else would have fallen for it. Again, he's not a bad player, but $17 million a year to a guy who's going to be a good starter, but like a good, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just unsure about $17 million a year for him. It's a lot of money. However, we're bouncing over to 5 years, $240 for Jaren Jackson, who is great at what he does. It's not that much, all things considered, considering he already has a Defensive Player of the Year trophy in his house. You know, he has a block title in there too. I think 2 block championships. He is a terrific defensive player. His block numbers have gone down, but that's also because his role has changed. He's still a really good man-on-man defender, and his offensive role has only grown since he's been drafted. His usage rate's been up offensively. So I really like Jaren Jackson Jr. He could spin left, he could spin right. He has a offensive game that's actually really productive. God forbid his threes are hitting, then he's even harder to guard. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is a really good player. 40 for 2 years for Jimbo Harden. I'm going to have to put it up there. James isn't he is the system. He is. We know that. When you play with James Harden, the James Harden formula is simple. He is going to dance on that island, and he's going to find you if you're open, if you cut, or if you happen to be open in the corner or whatever. James Harden will find you. He's aging well. You know, his shot creation's still there. He could still score. He had an all right playoff run. I know Game 7 probably left a nasty taste in a lot of people's mouths, but overall, the Clippers weren't bad last year, and I think they got better going into this year. And James Harden coming back is definitely a big part of that. If he left, I don't know what they would have done, so it made sense. Day'Ron Sharpe got $6 million a year. Yeah, that's okay value, okay player. He was a Suns draft pick. The Suns would probably kill to have Day'Ron Sharpe on their team right now. He's a really good rebounder. One of those tough big men, you know. He's a 6'9" guy. Kind of reminds me of Isaiah Stewart without like all the fighting, you know. I like Day'Ron Sharpe a lot. Watching some Nets games, at times he was better than Clax last year. I'll just come out and say it. Day'Ron is a good player. $6 million a year is right around what I'd like for him as well. Trey Mann is a little bit tougher to grade, but he's going to also go into okay value, okay player. It's $8 million a year for Trey Mann. He's a little bit harder to value, in my opinion, simply because of the big injury last season. Like, it cut his season short, and while he did play good in the time he was there, it wasn't very long. So that's my only reason to have a little bit of like hesitation. Plumlee got the minimum. That's it's fine value because it's a vet min, but at the same time, it's backup center Mason Plumlee, who's not bad as a backup center. But it's only a 1 year deal. You know, I could move it up, but again, it's only Mason Plumlee, and he might start because they just don't have much center play next year. It's really wild. The Hornets got a really weird team, man, and Mason Plumlee coming back to Charlotte and still not knowing what hand to shoot with is definitely hilarious to me. And Merrill, 4 years, $38 million. It's a shade under $10 million per year. I actually think that's right up there as well. He's a really good shooter, and he's a little bit younger. He comes off screens really well. He's not a bad defender, and it's less than $10 million a year. I like Sam Merrill. Is he like, he's definitely better than Jake LaRavia, so I think that kind of proves the point a little bit. It's not bad value because it's less than $10 million a year for a good stationary or movement shooter. The Twitch streamer Kyrie Irving got an extension. It was $119 million for 4 years, 3 years. Hold on, it's over 3 years, so it doesn't even translate to $40 million a year. It's like 39 and change. That's pretty damn good for Kyrie Irving. He's gonna be aging, yes. Their core is aging, yes, but he's still really good. He still, does his work when he needs to, and when he was healthy last year, he was really good as well. I know it's an ACL tear, but ACL tears at this point in history do not really impact me as much as, like, back in the day, an ACL tear used to be like, his career might be over. Nowadays, an ACL tear is like, all right, go to the doctor, we'll see you in a few months. Is Kyrie Irving a little bit kooky? Yeah. But is he also a really talented basketball player? Yeah, and that's coming from a Celtics fan who I still boo him. I still boo him all the way. Right? I think it's healthy for fan bases to dislike players. As long as it doesn't go too far, it is okay for Celtics fans to not like Kyrie Irving. As long as it's not like literally attacking him, it's fine. It's okay to boo a player. I don't get this sentiment of don't boo him. I don't know what. People are still like, Celtics fans still boo him. We were holding that grudge for so long. It's good for a sport to have players and teams that just don't like each other. I can appreciate Kyrie Irving as an amazing talent and a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. But I can also sit back and say his tenure as a Celtic was fucking horrific, and I hated every second of it almost. And I have a right to boo him. His tenure as a Celtic was a car crash, and I think that gives me the right to boo him as a basketball player, but as a human, you just leave him alone, bro. I still watch his Twitch streams here and there. He's not bad. Like, he's a relatively calm guy who talks pretty normal. It's just except when he starts talking about flat earth is when we start going, all right, let's back up a little bit, Joe Rogan. You get what I'm saying. We're moving on to Carrots. I know it's Carrots LeVert. Again, I just think this is another one where the Pistons were like, we're losing players, we need to spend money. 2 years, $29 million, Carrots LeVert. I don't know, man. I don't like it. It's almost $15 million for Caris LeVert, man. The spectrum of Caris LeVert, it's like it really is like, what do they call it, a bell curve or whatever, where it goes up and then back down, or a parabola, I guess. Parabola. I think I used that correctly. It's just really weird. You don't know what you're gonna get. And for $15 million a year, I know the Pistons had to spend some money. I know I'm hating on the Pistons signings really badly right now. I'm going to move him up. Just because there are games where he's good. It's weird, Caris LeVert, man. There's days where you're going to get 40 out of him. And then there's days where he can't play 4 minutes. Steven Adams got $13 million a year. I think that's great value for a good player. He proved his value in the playoffs tenfold. Because they might have got swept if Steven Adams doesn't play. They win like 2 games if Steven Adams doesn't play. Maybe 1. It's not a 7-game series if Steven Adams isn't there. Right? His offensive rebounding, his forcefulness inside, his ability to clean the offensive glass and defensive glass helped them out a ton. Him playing next to Şengün helped because Şengün didn't have to battle down low anymore against Draymond. It was kind of, hey, Steven Adams, you go guard Draymond. You go deal with the Draymond antics because you're the strong man. And then Şengün will keep you away from that nonsense. And it worked. Steven Adams was legit good. My only worry is that they signed Steven Adams and then Swiss Bank Steven Adams and Clint Capella. They're like this. They do the same thing. Clint Capella's a little bit more of a lob threat, but they basically do the same thing. They're big enforcer type big men. 5 years, $122 for Jabari Smith Jr. You guys don't know how much of a fan I am of Jabari Smith Jr. and I haven't told you, so you probably, you probably have your right for reserves. You're getting paid $25 million per season. This is another guy who, again, some of their star players didn't show up in the playoffs last year, man. Fred VanVleet was bad the first 3 games. Jalen Green was bad 6 out of the 7 games. Jabari Smith Jr. was making his corner threes and making his threes at a good clip. I can't tell you what it is off the top of my head, but I feel like if I went back and checked, he had a good shooting playoffs. And he is integral to their success, in my opinion, long term, because his size, his ability to move, and his shooting will throw teams off just because of how big he is. He's almost a 7-footer who can dribble a little bit, who can defend relatively well. And if his jump shot's on, he's a good shooter too. I don't know. I just really like the value sub $25 million a year for Jabari. Now this just is $25 million a year for Naz Reid. That's good value for a great player, man. You know what? I'm moving it up. $25 million a year because Naz is probably better than Jabari. That's fair. Naz is amazing. And if Peyton Pritchard didn't exist, I would have tried to give him 6th man of the year last year. He's another one where in the playoffs, you saw the value, man. This guy was playing the 5 when Rudy couldn't. When Julius Randle was struggling, Naz was trying to score to get the what they needed for scoring. His skill set is just fun, you know. I'm from New York, man. I know the Jelly fam inside and out. Shout out to Javon Quinterly, right? He was part of that, and his movements as a 7-footer are just so unnaturally smooth and beautiful. He has a fun game. His jump shot's a little bit weird, but when it's in, it smacks. Naz Reid is a fantastic player. I'm a fan. $33 million a year for Julius Randle is going in a good value, great player. $33 million a year for Julius Randle. I don't know how to feel about it because you see the Julius Randle pendulum, man. He looked terrible in the conference finals. Terrible, I say, against the Thunder. But against the other two teams that they played, the Lakers and who was the other team that I forget. Either way, he looked good. It was the Warriors. It was the Lakers and the Warriors. He looked really good in those series. Sure, those two teams last year both struggled with size, which definitely helped Julius Randle because he works best when he's underneath the basket playing bully ball. But he's needed. He's needed. For them to do anything, Julius Randle was needed. Obviously, $33 million is a lot of money. And obviously, like, if Naz Reid's worth 25, Julius Randle's probably around the 33 range. I don't know. He's just not a perfect player, and I guess that's kind of what I'm bitching about. But I don't know. I just like Julius Randle a lot. I think I put him in a respectful enough tier. Beyond Mitchell got $24 million for 2 years. That is a great value, good player. That's fine. A guy who took over last year and down the stretch looked really good in Miami, plays tough defense, and he wasn't a bad playmaker, all things considered. In the play-in, he looked really good. The playoffs, he looked all right as well. Davion is a fun player to look forward to with Miami because was his second half real, or was it just, he got hot? I don't know, but they gave him only $12 million a year, I believe, so it's not like it's a crazy amount to mess around with, Thank God we're getting down there. My voice is starting to hurt. $15 million a year for Bobby Portis. That's fine. He's a good backup big, good bench guy to have around your roster. He's been in Milwaukee for years. The fans love him, and they wanted to have him back. It's weird, because the fans in person chant, Bobby, 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 every 5 minutes he's on the court. But then you check social media, and Bucks Twitter, some portions that fucking hate him. And so it's interesting to see the duality of man, as they say. Another Bucks signing, Cole Anthony for $2.5 million. It's fine. If his shooting's on, he's a fine player. When his shooting's off, it's like the playoffs last year against Celtics. He can't play. He's small. He doesn't play make very well. But if his shot's on, he can help your offense a ton. So bringing him in as kind of like a reserve, and literally, like, if KPJ is terrible, you hope Cole Anthony can come in and give you a spark. It's around the same, type of player in the sense where they're both looking to score aggressively. I respect Cole Anthony. I think he's a fine player. On to the next one, the last one. And this one's going into, like, pretty high up. And I know some people might not like that because Bradley Beal wasn't very popular in Phoenix and hasn't been for a little bit now. But, dude, it's not expensive at all for Bradley Beal. What is it, $5.5 million a year? Dude, he got 2 years, $11 million. That's $5.5 million a year for Brad Beal. I understand for the last 5 years or so, he's been super overpaid with a no-trade clause and everyone hated him. Yes. You check the stat sheet, you see 14 points or whatever he's at on 40+% from three-point shooting wise, and he's playing like a steal-a-game defense. It's not great, but again, it's more so the number that was associated with Bradley Beal that made people dislike Bradley Beal rather than the play of Bradley Beal. It's just the number that was associated with him, and now that number's less, I hope that fans can appreciate him and see that he's not an awful player like they've painted him to be. His role in Phoenix wasn't good, all things considered. They didn't need him. It was redundant skill sets with him, Booker, and Durant. It made no sense. I think his role was terrible in Phoenix, so I think coming to the Clippers and knowing I'm not going to handle the ball, I'm going to be, a shooter coming off the bench maybe. I think coming off the bench. There's no way they stop starting Chris Dunn. They need that defense. With a more limited role and realizing like I'm not going to be that guy I once wasn't with Washington, and just being a 40% three-point shooter on $5.5 million per year, he can realistically become like a trade target if the Clippers are bad, and B, a player the Clippers fans really love. Like, this guy can really turn it up. He can be a good player, and I know I'm playing devil's advocate for Bradley Beal, and probably Phoenix fans don't like that, but again, I just don't think he's a bad player like some of you guys do. That's it, though. There's no more players, as you can tell, and if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. You watched it all the way to the end, you might as well just subscribe. Like, what the hell, man? Just do it, bro. It's not hard. All right, I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining me.